Welcome to Lesson 10.1, Simplifying Radical Expressions. A radical expression means you have no equal sign, and a radical means that you have something inside a square root. When you have such a thing, sometimes you have to what's called rationalize the denominator, and that means you will have to multiply top and bottom, or numerator and denominator, by a factor that eliminates the radical. And we'll see how that works in a moment. The product property of square root states that an expression under the radical sign is called a radicand, and it is in simplest form if the following is true. No radicands have perfect squares inside it. In other words, square root of 4 is not simplified, because that indeed equals 2. No radicals contain fractions. You cannot have a square root of 1/2. That is unacceptable. And no radicals appear in the denominator of a fraction. For example, 1 over root 2 is also considered inappropriate. Now, let's talk about the properties. You have a situation that when you are multiplying two roots, it is the same as having the root of their product. Okay, so for example, root 4 times root 9 is root 36, and that therefore simplifies to 6. Another property of roots is that if you square a square root, they cancel each other out, and you get what's left inside, and that's very important to us. All right, now we're going to talk about simplifying, and there's many different ways to simplify, and I'm going to show you the main way that we're going to cover it. And we're going to use a factor tree. So we're going to look at 80 and say a prime factor tree would be 2 times 40, 2 times 20, 2 times 10, 2 times 5. Now that means that I'm going to be strategic here, and notice that I have 2 squared with those 2, I have 2 squared with those 2, and then I have a 5 left over. So I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 times 5. Now this is important to me because I know that the square root of something squared is just the number itself. So this comes out as another 2, and inside you still have 2 times 5. So we are left with 4 times the root of 10, and that is considered simplified. The next one is, again, we're going to again look at prime factors. So 2 times 6, 2 times 3. Okay, right? So again, we focus on that there are 2 2's. So now we have negative 5 square root of 2 squared times 3. And as mentioned before, the square root of something squared is the number itself, so we get negative 5 times 2 with 3 still in the root. These two together get multiplied, so negative 10 root 3. Next one, we're going to take a look at simplifying root 81. Well, nicely enough, unlike the others, the root of 81 is 9. So this becomes 6 times 9, which is 54. Next one, here we're multiplying. So we're going to multiply these two together. And actually at this point, I'm going to stop there. And my next video is going to cover the next 3 where we are multiplying those together. So this ends the first part of lesson 10.1.